Patience, yeah, and kind of has some dialogue about how expectations rob us of the do. Now I'm gonna try to get this feed off here. What we got going on here? We got a lot going. Give me a second here to get the right screen up here. I don't know why it's showing me a be right back. I don't want to be right back on my screen. What I want is my face. Where are we at? The stage. Uh, I don't know why it has me having somebody else on here. I don't have anyone else on the show. Give me a second, y'all. I'm on two different platforms. Or even my face is beyond me because that's where it should be. Hold on, y'all. It's on the solo layout. That's where I want to be. Right back. I don't want this. I want this. Show on stage. There we go. Okay. So as I was saying, um, last week we were talking about expectations and how what expectations really look like. So today I want to talk a little more about expectations and how when you're talking about expectations, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Every time you get a response back from somebody, when you say or do something, watch how they respond back, right? And watch objectively, right? Because what you're actually doing is when you interact with other people and you show yourself, you're looking into a mirror. If you see everybody like kind of eyebrows go up, or you see, some kind of look other than that which you were just seeing before you, it's about you and your expectations of them. It's about you and your expectations of them. We all live our lives with expectations of others. What I'm just trying to reinforce for everybody who is watching is that you have to understand that people are going to fail you. And because people fail your expectations, it doesn't mean that it's time to get on your roller skates and roll out. It doesn't mean that it's time for a divorce. It only means that it's time for you to start looking at, are you being true to yourself by having these expectations of people? Dating has become more worthy of marriage because it's easier to walk away from. It's easier to get what you want or get your needs met by 4 or 5 different people, right, than by one person. Not looking at what it takes to go through this kind of life. It may be easy. Nah, I'm good. I don't feel like seeing nobody tonight and hang up. You think that's easy. To you, it looks real easy, right? But it takes work to keep a person picking up their phone and calling you, because what you have conditioned yourself to believe is that you're the only one, that you're the best on the block. Don't set yourself up. One's a wet hole, one's a stiff piece of meat. That's all it is. And it's a whole bunch of that running around. It's a whole bunch of running around. It's free, right? And everybody don't have to deal with you because you think you got it, because you think you got the magic stick. because you think you got the milk and honey. Don't believe that. Don't set yourself up for that. Don't set yourself up for that, because you're not the only one. And when you think you're the only one, you'll find that you're not the only one then. Believe what I tell you. The poorer you treat a person, the more expectations you put upon a person, the more you separate yourself from that person and other people like that person who may find you truly interesting. You may be very interesting. You may be the 10. You may be that. But for what purpose? That's what you have to look at. For what purpose? Why is this person watching you? Why is this person talking to you? Why is this person smiling every time they see you? That's what you have to start looking at. Why? Right? You think because you got your titties and your behind out and you showing a big, nice camel toe and all that, that's what you're going to get back. Oh, yeah, we're going to certainly enjoy it. But that's what you're going to get back. That's what you're going to get back. Then we always have this discussion about, what women dress and how they dress when they're out in public, right? And looking at, well, if you're walking with your man, right, and you're dressed in a provocative manner, what kind of attention is that going to get? Now, first of all, you wouldn't be walking down the street with me dressed that way. So that wouldn't even be a conversation to be had, because we ain't even leaving out the house. I'm going to leave you where you are and I'm going to keep on going. Simply because, listen, that draws attention. It draws negative attention. It draws a negative perception of you. But most importantly, I'm going to have to check somebody. Right? I'm going to have to check somebody. And when you pull me into the equation, then it's a whole different outcome. And you can sit down all day long and say, well, dude is just jealous. He's this, he's that. No, not at all. My job is to protect you as my woman, as my wife. That's my job. Don't take me off of my job because you want to be fly. You want to outfly your girlfriends. You want to look like somebody that's on stage performing a show. And you want to do the same thing walking down the street. No, it doesn't work that way, sis. Right? It has nothing to do with jealousy. Trust me, I'm the most secure person you'll ever meet in life. Right? Ain't no dude out there gonna, listen. I illuminate. I'm a very talented person, professional, right? Achieved everything and beyond in my 30-year career. Ain't no dude out there going to match me. I'm not concerned with that. You should be concerned with that. You should be concerned when you want to have these expectations that are appeasing to you, that are appealing to you, because you're trying to outdo somebody. You're trying to outshine somebody. You got a great man on your hip, but you want to show off to your girlfriends what you got, and your girlfriends is looking at you like, yeah, you keep showing him to me, baby. And then she's coming after him, and vice versa for any gender, right? Come on. Expectations, are limited to conduct, your own conduct, and conduct that you'll accept from somebody else. In the sense that, listen, if you're interacting with me, be respectful. Talk to me respectfully. Right? And I mean, that's how we're going to converse. So the expectation, the standard, the boundary, because don't confuse boundaries with being unrealistic in expectations. A lot of people, they get that kind of twisted. You set boundaries. But when you think that people should do these things for you to make you comfortable in your own skin, that's a problem. Like, when you ever get in line at your grocery market and, we've been standing there for about a good 10 minutes. It's two people in front of me. Then we get up. The person in front of you gets up to the counter. Cashier rings your stuff up. And then this person decides they want to dig into their pocketbook to find their wallet, and then want to open up the wallet to find the card they're going to pay for or the money. We've been standing here for 10 damn minutes. Didn't you know you were going to have to pay when you got up there? Right? That's one of my pet peeves. Right? But because I expect for somebody to think like me, because that's the expectation. Not to think like everybody else, but to think like me. I know I'm going to have to pay when I get there. I know it's other people behind me. See, that's the other thought of me. That's the other part of me. Everybody doesn't think like that, right? So I'm thinking like, let's keep things moving along. That's my thought process. I know when I get up there, I should have my wallet in my hand. I should have my card easily accessible so I can pay and roll. I know that's how I think. And then I know I got these other people back here. They got stuff to do just like me. They want to get in and get out just like me. I know that. So why do people wait until they get there to decide that they want to dig down in that dump bag to find that purse, the little tiny purse with everything jammed in it? And now you got to thumb through there to find out where the card is, and then sometimes find the card ain't even in that wallet. Right? It's somewhere in the dump bag. Right? That's an issue for me. But that's my issue. That's my issue. That's not their issue. They doing their thing. They moving on hunky-dory. I'm sitting there with a damn wedgie because I'm pissed because you should have been ready. And they just, hi, sorry. And they good. And here I am all balled up. Here I am all agitated. And don't let me have already encountered something else that agitated me. Remember, it's agitating me. It's not agitating you. It's not doing anything to you. It's nothing happening to you. It's happening for you. But you go deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole because they pissed you off. And now you're looking at them crazy. And then you're liable to say something slick out of your mouth. Now you're in another dilemma. Because here you've encountered a person, right, that ain't with the slick mouth stuff. That'll step right into your chest. Right? So now you created a whole nother situation. But it all began with an expectation of others. Sure, there are supposed to be some expectations. You got to have expectations. People say, unconditional love. Stop with that nonsense, man. Stop. That's nonsense. It sounds real cute. It sounds real moral. Yeah. Your unconditional love. Let me get in a relationship with you and not give you back what you have been giving me. And let me know how that works for you. Look at your relationship with your children. Sure, you'll love your children. And deep down in the confines of your spirit, you will always love your children. But will you always treat your children, like you love them? We got the tough love group. We got the passive love group. And we have the in-between group. Right? But at the end of the day, when your children start doing some incorrigible things, you going to tell me you don't start looking at your child differently? You want to tell me as much as you would hate for them to go to prison, that you wouldn't turn their little asses in for some criminal stuff that could also affect you and your continued freedom? Come on now. So we have to look at things realistically. So I never got to the article last week because I got so involved in the discussion that I never even got to the article. So we're going to start today with the article. So it's from Human Psychology. Don't have an author. So Expectations is the title of the article. The Real Happiness Killer. I want you to understand that. because we get into a lot of relationships with people and we often ask ourselves, like, why this person always seems to be so miserable? You ever meet that person? They're always miserable. They always have a problem. They always have something going on all the time, no matter what it is. They're never smiling. They always got this mean scowl on their face, like I used to have, over 30 years ago, because I was not happy. Didn't know how to be happy. Let me be real about that. Everything that I thought was happiness, about happiness, it was not it. It was not it. I can tell you it was not it. I had the money. I had the bling. I had the things. I still wasn't happy. I still wasn't happy. 30 years, I got introduced to the one true God. It's only one. But what I had in my mind, right, wasn't doing anything for my spirit. So when I started building that relationship and understanding myself and understanding the need to change, because I was trying, man. I was trying hard to change, right? But I was going deeper and deeper into the dark side rabbit hole. I don't know if you ever been involved in the dark side rabbit hole, but the streets gives you a dark side. And you just go deeper and deeper and deeper till like you can't nobody pull you back up, but a power greater than us all. So I had to experience all of that, So expectations are the strong belief that something will happen or be the case. Okay. More than anything else, our expectations determine our reality. Yeah. So our expectations also impact those around us. In a self-fulfilling prophecy, people may rise or fall depending on our expectations and beliefs. Research shows that this happens because when we believe in someone, this is our contribution. We treat them better than the people we think will fail. We give more opportunities to succeed than we give those we think will fail. We give them more accurate, helpful feedback than we give others, and we do more teaching because we believe it's time well spent. I've been doing these shows since 2006. You go to my Sabir Aleem educational station on YouTube. Just Google Sabir Aleem. It'll come up. You'll see videos from 2006. That's when I started my nonprofit, Daddy's Right Here Incorporated, a nonprofit human services organization that seeks to decrease father absenteeism. So I started that. I didn't start Daddy's Right Here because I planned on getting rich. Daddy's Right Here was started because of challenges that I experienced as a father, as a son, as a physically and emotionally absent human being who happens to be a father, right? That's how it started. I started doing community events. I hosted community events, an annual event for sure, at least from 2006 to about 2010. I think somewhere around 2010 was the last one. Invited the community resources from City Hall, from City of Philadelphia. They showed up. I invited other organizations, right, who did not have to pay anything. This is what you do. Bring your table. Come on up. I'll give you a spot. You can go ahead. That's how I rolled. It wasn't about me. It was about others like me, others to come like me, because people needed a place to go to be able to see that they're not alone, other than the 12-step fellowship after their lives got destroyed by drugs and alcohol. You understand? So I started it because I wanted to begin to show people that there was a way that you can work through all of this. A way that you can work through all of this. That's how I started this, right? Off of my thesis project at Lincoln University. So this has been since 2006 I've been doing this. I didn't just show up. I've just been on other media platforms, but I've been on YouTube since 2006. It's over 500 videos there. You can host your own therapy session with you and your woman, your wife, your family, your kids, and anybody by putting on one of the videos. You understand what I'm saying to you? So there was no expectation that I was going to get 1 million views. No. I was creating a couple of things. Hey, hold it down up there. I was creating a few things. One of the first things I was creating was a resource for others. That's what I was creating, a resource for others. But not just for the other person. So that resource was helping me understand, learn, and see some other stuff that I wanted to add to the repertoire of information that I was going to include. But I was also learning from other people, how they were getting through certain things. I was also learning about their challenges. I worked with the criminal justice population for 30 years in community corrections. I spent the last up until 2024, from 2015 to 24 in Florida. I spent the last 5 years. Well, overall, it's been 9 years. 9 years in Florida. I'm from Philly. 9 years inside of the prison. Yeah. So that means I spent 21 years in community corrections, right? Servicing male and female adults transitioning from state correctional institutions with a serious and persistent mental illness, right, to substance use disorders, right? 30-year career. I just retired in 24. It's never been about me. And the funny thing is, when I started back in was it 94? So, short story of it. My son-in-law's father, right, was one of my clients when he came out of prison. And me and his father had a great relationship. This is also the dude that taught me a lot about inmate behavior in community corrections and how to be able to be less rigid in my approach. Because I was like, yo, what? Because I was from the street. But anyway, so we became in-laws a few years back. Somebody I counseled who came out of prison, right? In Pennsylvania, in Philly, everybody that comes out of prison was coming through the community corrections facilities. I encounter all these guys on the streets every day. I had somebody who was actually paroled onto my block. Yeah. So it's a matter of how you treat people, first and foremost. That's what my whole point is. It's a matter of how you treat people. And I've always treated people respectfully. Even when I was in the street, I was never disrespectful to people. As a result of it, I haven't had a physical confrontation with anyone since 1977. And I'm 65. Yeah. Because of how I interact with people. Because in my mind, I know I can't control anybody else. I can't control anything anybody else does. I have full control over myself. I have full control over myself. I can't control what anybody says or does. You can do this all day long. But if you're doing this, do you really want to do this? Or this? You understand? Do you want to do either one of those? No, because you just doing this. Ain't nothing between you and me but space, but you doing all of this. That ain't never hurt nobody, for real, for real. Sticks and stones may break my, remember that, right? So you just keep on moving. But a lot of times it's like people just want to try you because that's what they do. Because they do that to everybody. So don't personalize it. It ain't just about you. This person has spent years of their life dealing with others in this capacity. All right. Well, listen. Hey, listen. I ain't with all that. I'm going to go on in the store and mind my business. All right, bro? Peace. And keep on going. And most of the time, it ends that way because I don't feed. Remember, I want you to remember that this is 2026. I haven't had a fight since 1977. And the only reason I had one then is because it was a due one. It happens that way. This one was due, right? So when we see how we treat people, because this is what the article began talking about, we see how we treat people differently, right? We see how we treat people differently. And one of the other experiences I had while working in a community corrections facility, and this was straight community, this was like they was going back and forth to work school, whatever. So I did a impromptu shutdown. You know, it's toss it around time. Y'all know what it means. If you don't, it's time to do a shakedown. So I did an impromptu shakedown of the facility. You know, so I'm going through all this stuff, and so we had one guy who left his book back home because he was attending college. And I'm gonna tell you where the confusion comes in, and I just want to kind of give you an idea. He was going to college. He was doing good for himself. He was the same guy that came in all the time. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Aleem? How you doing, Miss Johnson? Hey, did you see the game last night? Great, yeah. He would go out every day, everybody, and this was the guy who always, I know they did it. They let him slide on different little things. Right? I ain't letting nobody slide. I wasn't about letting you slide because letting you slide is compromising my integrity, and it ain't gonna happen. And if you think that I'm gonna compromise my integrity because you are failing to do what you ain't gonna work that way. So they knew that about me. And I was respected as a result of it because they already knew. Right? So I know everybody was letting this guy come back and forth. And, you know, he was all, he's so cool. And yeah, I like him. He's a good guy. Anyway, I did the shakedown. Go into the room. His book bag got left behind. So first flag went up for me was, well, how you go to school this morning and his book bag is here? And he ain't called back. He ain't came back. And the college is only a few blocks down. Okay. Take the book bag. Dump it on the bed. Jeez. My man had little tiny zip bags. He had a whole plastic bag full of latex gloves. He had another plastic bag in there that had a rock of cocaine about the size of the palm of my hand. Again, the same guy, nobody expected, because of how they thought, nobody expected was doing this, right? So somehow or another, it's easy. And if you know anything about corrections, by the time we got finished, you know, doing a shakedown of the whole facility, and nobody left out now, right? He had already found out, so he didn't come back. He went on escape status, right? So fast forward, when you think that people are going to give you something or that you can get something from people, right? Just in your interaction, right? This is always the person who it gets most respected by most people. It's just a sick way of thinking that so many people have, that you treat that person differently. You treat that person better. But a person who is just straight up, you know, you're trying to get to laugh and all that, you treat them differently because you think that they should treat you like these other people. See, you gravitate more towards somebody who responds or reacts to you in a more favorable fashion, right? Until you come to know me, you know, you'll be like, I don't look like. So you don't know what you're going to get from me, right? So you will treat me with more hesitancy with the hee ha ha stuff, because dude don't look like he gonna be laughing too much. I greet people. Hey, how you doing? Good, good, good. But you already can see it in my face. Nah, it's going to take a little more work. But when you have expectations of people, you're treating the other person in a way that you have assessed them to possibly be. So because you think that that's how that person is going to be, that's how you approach them. It's not totally true. Right? And that's what ultimately happens in a lot of relationships. You get in a relationship with a person. I'm a very accommodating person, right? I'm a very kind person. I'm a very giving person, helpful, all those things, right? So a woman, right, who should be treated as such, can mistakenly put herself in a position where she can push the envelope. I used to be a caretaker, so I've had that happen on a number of occasions. I've had that happen a lot. I'm on marriage number 5, and I'm okay with that. My first marriage was 24. I'm 65. So, and this is the last one, and I know now that it's the last one because of what I learned before, right? And it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with my approach, which I was just talking about, because everybody can't handle accommodation, care, passion, empathy, sympathy, all at one time, especially if you've never had it. You don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to handle it. So you drag the baggage from the previous relationship or previous relationships into this one, and you get one that's loving and caring. You get one that's accommodating. You begin to abuse it. And it happens real quick. It happens real quick. And when you're accommodating like that, the expectation is that the person, at least for me, is respectful. Like, you don't talk to me like I'm some Negro out on the street. No, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Again, because that thing you got, it's a whole bunch more running around. Free. Right? So the expectation that I have is that if something happens, because it will, because we're two different people, we're two different human beings. If something happens, that we deal with it respectfully. But you already have the evidence of how I treat you. I treat you good. I treat you with respect. I pretty much will give you reasonably what you want. You like that? I can get that for you. If it's reasonable, if it's something, but like, don't ask me for some stuff that you know is not reasonable, because then that's going to beg the question again. Where do you stand here? What do you think I am? I don't even drive that. Why the hell would I buy it for you? I don't even wear a jewelry that costs a amount. Why would I buy that for you? Because of that thing? You got to be kidding. You got to bring more than that to the table, right? So you come to the table empty-handed, and then you want to leave with a damn takeout bag. What? Nah. So anywho, my expectation is that because I treat you with the highest respect, because I can adorn you with gifts, right, doesn't mean that you should always be asking for that. And then layer onto it a negative attitude, this old head shaking, chicken neck kind of stuff attitude that you can, or like, how dare you, say something about such and such, right? You really got the wrong one. I'm not the dude for that, right? I can have another you in a minute, baby, right? So you look at those kind of things and be like, nah, that ain't, no, that's not. And it's a conversation. It's a conversation. And like I told you in last week's show, when in conflict with people, make it a teach you about me moment and not a tell you about you moment, right? Because a lot of times we assume that people know better. Just because I heard it don't mean that I've internalized it, doesn't mean that I care about it, doesn't mean I've even ever used it or consider using it, because I never thought I would be in this position to be with the person who even cares like you do. So this is some new stuff here. So when you're seeking to establish a relationship with the person, you have to teach them about you. Like when you raise your voice at me like that, as a woman, right? I don't do well with that. I was raised primarily by a woman. So I always had a woman, right, being raised, yelling at me, telling me to do this, telling me to do that, threatening me, whooping my behind. That's going to always be something that triggers me. And then we layer on top of the expectation, the expectation, that as a woman, you shouldn't be raising your voice at your man. Who do you think you're talking to? If that's your man, why are you raising your voice at him? If he displeases you that much, why don't you just leave? Why do you think that you can get into a pissing match with a man? Like, why? I watch these judge shows and people be on the divorce court and talking, like, why are y'all even in the relationship? Right? That's an issue in itself. And that's your fault. That's your fault. If you're staying in that, that's your fault. You only get one shot. You do it. Nah, we ain't, I'm out. You look at those kind of things, right? You have to look at those kind of things, right? So here, our minds are constantly jumping to conclusions about the world we live in, about who we are. People who wear taller, better looking avatars in virtual reality behave in ways that taller and better looking people tend to act. Research has shown highly trained weightlifters can outdo their personal best when they believe they've taken a performance booster. Follow me here. This is what you're telling yourself, right? Your max, for instance, may be 335 on the bench. You take a performance booster, they gave this great, wonderful spill on, now you take this, you can lift 425 in 7 days. They didn't tell you about the other effects. Now you're in your head believing that you can max now past the 335 that you've been on to 425 in 7 days. First, you got to look at how much 335 is. Yeah. My max in the seated press is 335, right? Now I haven't pressed that heavy because I'm older. I don't need to press that heavy, but that was my max like 3 years ago, right? In the seated press, the seated chest pressure, So, sure, I can get back to that because my body withstood the pressure of that at one point in time, right? I lift light now in the back. But it's a matter of what you begin to tell yourself. The more expectations that people meet for you, the more it reinforces within you that others are going to do the same thing. You understand that? So from birth till about 10 years old, people are real accommodating towards you. They yield toward you. They yield toward you based on how you conduct yourself. So if you're a big person, automatically, right, you're bigger than others in the class, and automatically they yield to you. So the expectation as you get older is that you get the same response. So my last weight, I was weighed a few months ago, was 194, right? Approximately 6 feet tall. It's 9'11" and some change. Did I say 9'11"? No, 5'11" and some change. So I rounded to 6. So 6 feet, 194 pounds. I don't look it. I'm top heavy. So everything, I have no legs. So everything is up here. Strong back, all that, right? Now you get another person who's 5'7", same weight, who looks, right? My point is, the expectation is that if you see this little guy walking up the street and you're a big dude, automatically in your mind, you can take over me. I'll yield to you, because throughout all of your childhood, up until about 10 years old, right, you were bigger than everybody in your class. People wanted you to beat up the bully. People wanted to hang with you because they know you could beat up the bully. And then when you start getting older, you start seeing others as big as or bigger than you, right? Now your mindset changes because you think you're part of the big boy crew now, and the big boy crew ain't always about that. They always want to be the biggest one. Now you think you bigger than me. Now I want to. So it's not about the other people that you could bully or be the hero for. Now with the changes, so it shifts after 10 years old. Because after 10, now you're in like what, middle school? So everything begins to change. But the older you get, the more you expect for people to yield because you're the big dude. Forgetting about me, the little dude, who was always yielding to the big dude. I don't even know if I stopped yielding at 10. I might have stopped a little earlier because I had to. I was too thin to win. So I was told. So they thought. You understand here? I want you to begin to understand. Right? When people say, what's the name? What's the guy? Napoleon. People say about he got the Napoleon complex because he's short. Right? And that's what they're talking about, the Napoleon complex. Short dudes tend to act a little more rambunctious because of what they had to endure as children. In the childhood, everything goes back to your childhood. So the little dude, right, he's got to play a little harder, right? He's got to play a little harder. Imagine Spud Webb, if y'all know Spud Webb. Spud Webb is about 5 feet tall. What was five something? Little tiny dude can dunk the ball, right? Can dunk the ball. But just imagine chasing Spud around the basketball court, trying to catch his little behind. See, he learned to use his size to make him bigger. He became bigger by perception. Yeah, he became bigger by perception. He was the dude that could take off and dunk the ball. When you had 7-footers out there who couldn't dunk the ball. You understand? So Spud made himself bigger by applying a talent. And he used his talent. And he became one of the best guards, right, in the NBA. So let me go over some relationship killer things that I know that you do, seen others do, so others have done to you. And I want you to just imagine and recall the response. Here's the first one. Life should be fair. It is not at all. Bad things happen to good people all the time for no reason. Expecting you will never have to deal with hardship or difficulties and that you won't cope when they come is denying the human experience. Right? Let me tell you something. You know how you watch television and you see on the news somebody shot and they haven't been identified yet, or somebody was in this horrific accident, or you see people get this call, you know, when you watch the first 48, they have to call the family. They got to contact the family and say, hey, you know, you never think that you would get one of them knocks on your door. You never think that you would get one of those phone calls. Well, when my brother called me one morning, September of 2004, and said, hey, Dad didn't come home last night, I already knew. I knew something had happened. Didn't break down into tears and all those things until we went to the place where they found his body. But you never think you're going to get one of those calls, man. You know, and I'm the kind of person, like, I believe that death is life. So my perception of death, even when faced with it, is reacted to, responded to differently. If you're going to shoot me, shoot me. What am I going to do? I'm going to be mad at you. I'll be dead. I'm going to be mad. Do what you're going to do. What? Right? So when my brother called me, it wasn't a fright or a horror that came over me. It was a matter of I went right into acceptance mode. Because I knew that something had happened to my father. Because my father, creature of habit, right? Just like me. You know, he went to work. He came home. If he had to make a stop, somebody would know that he's making the stop because he saw his sister every day. I was stopping by to see him on every day after, you know, when I got off of work. And I got a call that morning. I had just gotten into work that he didn't come home. And I knew that. You don't think you're going to get that call, man. You know, you just not my father. My father he was 66 years old. He was a laborer. And you get that call, right? Stuff happens, man. Stuff is going to happen. That's the world we live in. You live around other people. Other people don't have the same mindset that you do. Other people don't value life the way you do. You may not value life the way you should value life. But there's other ways that you can value life. But it begins with the perception that you have of life itself. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to give you everything that you want. It's not even my job to give my wife what she wants in terms of healing. No, that's not my job. My job is not to heal my wife. No. I'm supposed to compliment her. Yeah. She's supposed to compliment me. There's areas that I lack. That her, as my helper, by definition, as my helper, is what she gives to me. You come prepared to be doing the work on yourself. If anybody comes and is not doing any work on themselves, you're responsible to run. That's your first responsibility. Your first responsibility. Now, some people put on great, wonderful shows. They talk real good. But did they really convince you that they would be a good husband to you? That they would be a good mother, a good father, a good helper? Did they just have some things, you know, that were readily available and accessible that they could give you the impression was this could be the one? Not this is the one. This could be the one. But the one for what? The one for what? Did I drive up in the Maybach? Yeah, it's a Maybach. It's not a Maybach, in case you didn't know. It's called a Maybach. I rolled up in a 2025 Maybach, a Rolls, a Bentley, something that you found to be a sign of something that you desired to have in a person that you were going to be in a relationship with. Remember, it always goes back to you. Because if I drive up in the 67 Camry, whether it's pimped out or not, how do you feel about that? You may think, okay, well, listen, he probably spent about 30 stacks in getting that thing laid out like that. So I don't want nothing like that. I want, right? So what are you thinking in that moment? See, you're not thinking about what you need in a person. You're thinking about what you want in a person. Because anything you want in that person, right, should be something that makes you feel safe. I'm the guy who makes you feel safe. I'm crazy as hell, and you know it. I got the street in me and a damn professional and educated. That's scary for the world. That's scary for the world. From the street. Yeah. Into the corporate office. Yeah. Yeah. Educated. Master's degree. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of fear. Intellectually intelligent. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of fear. And when you with somebody who doesn't have that experience in being with a person like me, it could be scary. So you feel the need to act and be and do what you don't need to. I like hood girls. I'm from the hood, right? I've dated very my wives had varied backgrounds, right? I like the hood girls, the ones that got this. I grew up in the hood. That's my flavor. I'm not saying I don't like others, but like, and I don't need you to ride or die in that capacity, right? But I need you to like, yo, hey, that, you no, we ain't doing that, right? So you have to understand backgrounds are significant to relationships because see, I came out of the hood. Don't mean the hood ain't come with me. It's still there. I just don't depend on the skills, the tactics, the values and beliefs I once did being in the street and everything. But we acted as a community. Yeah, we fought and we just cracked one open and passed it around, shook hands and went on to play ball. Right? I come from that. I don't come from the bloodbath. I don't come from none of that. I mean, we had that kind of existence, with racism back in there, 60s, 70s, and it began to slow down in the 70s, right? So all y'all keep talking about, racism and all that. Y'all, if you ain't come from back then, you don't know. This little stupid stuff that goes on today ain't nothing but the residue of the stupidity from the hateful eight back then. That's all that is. This ain't nothing. Nothing. Right? It's the same damn people. So it's like that's nothing. Here's the next one. Everyone should like me. They won't and don't. Oh, here we go with this TikTok match the thing with the thing. They won't and don't. Just as you don't like everyone you know, instead focus on earning the trust and respect of people you like. Tend to focus on the people who don't like you. You become consumed with, I ain't never did nothing to her. Why is she acting like this? Why he acting like that? I know dudes, man. I see it all the time in the feeds, especially in the music industry. I've never seen so many men act like a bunch of damn cackling ass women. I've never in my life seen it. And I know it's an industry thing, right? Because you got to keep that going, right? In order to be relevant in the industry, right? Because you see it. It's obvious. It's all in the industry, man. You got to ride around with all the bling. You got to be grizzly about every damn thing. You got to come at people like I tack that ass and all. Come on, man. We grown ass men. Ain't nobody care about none of that shit. For real. I know how to clap too, but where's the value in it? But that's the environment that we have. And a lot of people, they want to, act like what it talked about earlier in there, want to act like they're about it. Just because you live an irresponsible life don't make you no killer. Everybody has the potential to do. For what though? To defend yourself? Sure. To defend a beef online? To defend a beef on record? on an album? Really? Come on, man, for real. So everyone's not going to like you. I don't care if you like me or not. I really don't. In the workplace, I'm not there for you to like me. I'm not there for you to dislike me. And I don't go set out to do things to be mean, spiteful. I make sure that if you're under my tutelage, that I try every day, every interaction, I try to make it a learning encounter, a learning interaction. Yeah. Because it's no sense, some people are just fighting fights that don't need to be fought. And most of your focus is on why somebody don't like you. Those are the ones I love the most. As soon as I come in, hey, good morning. How you doing today, man? Great, good. Listen, I need to stop by later on. Some paperwork I need to have you sign off on. I appreciate it. Thanks. I make sure I'm in your face. I have fun with that shit. I really do. And by the time I get done priming you and prepping you, you're good with me anyway. You just don't know me. I'm new to the environment. I'm very assertive. I know when I come in, I have a job to do and I come to get it done. I don't come to wait on you for me to get it done. I come to get it done. So I'm coming to you and I'm asking you for what I need assertively. Hey, listen, can you help me out with this? I need to humbly. Yeah, I appreciate it. I know you want me to come back. It's cool. I mean, I just walked in. I just need to get it done today. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, if it has to be tomorrow, I understand. Not a problem. See, most of y'all don't know, how to get what you need, right? Because you're doing too much of this. You're doing too much defending. You're doing too much posturing. You're doing too much trying to make a person know who you are. You got that who I am kind of mindset. I know who I am when I come in. I know the charge that I've been given. So I already know who I am. They told me that I am. I said, okay, that's who I am. I walk in that door like that's who I am. But most importantly, I walk in the door like who I am. That's the difference. Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? Yeah. I'm sorry, a little loud. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I spoke to everybody. So listen, my name is so-and-so. I'm from, and what I need to have, I need to get the last two fire inspections and health department inspections. Can somebody get that for me? Who would I see for that? Oh, you're not the person. Thank. Oh, great. Listen, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time. You want me to come back? I can. Okay, not a problem. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And leave. In and out. Get what I want. Get what I need. Don't be disrespectful to anybody. None of that. You have less conflict because the expectation is that when I come in there, somebody going to say in their head who he think he is. If they've never seen me before, oh, here come another one from the office. Because when you come from central office, when you come from the corporate office, you always get something different, right? Okay. When you come at the lower level, because I've been at the level of a site tech, having to do the same thing, but to go up to the other level, I say, hey, this is what I need. Can you? No, well, you a site tech, so what does that mean? Because I'm a site tech. I need this to get my job done. See, it's about my conduct. I expect resistance. I expect dislike. I expect that because I understand my condition as a human being. So I understand the condition of man. That's including woman, in case you don't understand when I use the term man, when I'm speaking about activity. When I say man, I'm speaking about humankind, right? So man's condition is already as such. We hateful, we're jealous, envious, all those things kick in. And everybody who you encounter has had some kind of encounter with those attributes. You need to get in touch with yours. You need to recognize your own biases, right? Your own prejudices. You need to get in touch with them first and foremost. So you can stop acting like every white person you encounter is a former slave owner, because that couldn't be further from the truth, right? So you work on that aspect of self. That'll help you with relationships with whites. So you can stop acting racist and keep calling them racist. You understand what I'm saying? And vice versa. See, because that's what has shaped today's condition right now that we're faced with. These ideas that people have fed you with and you have jumped on the bandwagon with and don't know it to be true. Now all you see is the call for unity, because we've all found out that we fell for the banana in the tailpipe, that we've all fell for the Jedi mind trick, right? It took a lot to find out, but now that we know, the world is changing. Again, there's a shift happening, because everybody realizes that we've all gotten fucked. Period. Right? So you see more unity happen. You see more disclosure of self in our own poor conduct, in our own thinking, because you don't have any evidence to support it. You have social media, which throws that propaganda out all the time. Number 3, people should agree with me. Why should people agree with you? Do you agree with you? So what it says is people should agree with me. Yours may not be the only right answer. And being right is not always right. We tend to take others' words and behavior personally, when often it is about them, not us. We expect them to think and act just like us. And if they don't, we feel hurt or angry. Give you an example. I'm a very structured person, very orderly person. I take my clothes off. I hang things in the same places. My belts and ties get hung in the same places. My jackets, my sweaters, hung in the same places. My suits are hung with the suits. You won't walk around and find everything on this hook, on that hook, laying over here, laying over there. The throw blankets that we have on the sofas, I take it off and I fold it and I put it in the basket. I've been retired since last year. So I'm sitting around since 24. So I'm on the same sofa every day in front of my laptop, doing my music, creating my design for AleneForYou.net, right? But it's the same pillows there. The water, if I sit it down, it sits here, it sits there. That's who I am, right? I don't expect everybody else to be that way. I don't expect for my wife to do that. I come down the damn steps every day, and those damn blankets, that little throw warm-up comforter blankets, they're all over the damn place. One's over here, one's over there. You got your ass up. Why don't you take it and fold it up and put it in the basket? The basket's right there. I didn't even put it that far. You can keep saying it. You can keep complaining about it. I complained about it and said, as I'm folding it the hell up and putting it in the basket. Why? Because for me, I'll sit there and I'll be focused on it all day long, making myself upset, making myself angry. Can't wait for them to come home from school or work and be sitting there all balled up in a knot and attitude all damn day. Because I expect for you to do as I say. Or as I ask you, but as I say, I ask you. It's unrealistic. You drive down the block. Every day, somebody is double parked in front of a parking space. Now, how the hell you made sense out of that one, I do not know. Is that your way of saying, well, it's still my parking space? I just didn't park in it because I didn't want to, go when it's just easier to get. That makes sense to that person. It really does. As asinine as it sounds, because you could have pulled up to any car. You could have pulled. Do you know double parked in front of a space is still making it difficult for somebody to get in and out? You didn't think that far. You just thought far enough was it's my space. I'm parking in front of it. The car in front of you may do well. The car in back of you may struggle quite a bit because they still got to back up to go around you unless they go around you. But then if it's a car parked in front of you, but that's how I think. I just think, why aren't you parking the space? You'd have made life for everybody easier. But no, you thought about your life being easy and thought that made sense. And a lot of times you can just say to a person, do you realize that I still couldn't get out? Nah, you know what? I'm thinking it's a space. I just wanted to whip in and whip out. Didn't want to go through back and forth. Like the car goes in reverse and it goes forward and you left, turn right. Like, was that really hard for you? I'm so sorry. People are not going to like you. I don't expect for people to like me. I don't look for people to like me. Coming up as a young male, like I was always shy. So like I didn't really, I started gravitating towards girls after 13, pretty much. I mean, I had a couple of girls who liked me and whatnot. Hey, I had fun with them. So, but at 13, I had the 22-year-old that, whoops, that just broke my glass. Okay, so we'll pick that up later. I broke a glass. I guess y'all heard that one. But yeah, so yeah, so expectation that the glass was going to sit there no matter how much I rocked the table, and that's an issue in itself. But anywho, so so when I was 13, somebody's 22, 21, 22. And then it was off and running after that, and I was off and running chasing her. So that's a whole nother story about having having sex at an early age. But people understand. Maybe it was. It's about that time, y'all. The other expectation: people understand what I am saying. Assumptions like expectations can be happiness killers. People won't understand us just because we are talking. Generally, listening to someone else with empathy creates understanding whilst projecting our own mental filters and worldviews onto others generates misunderstandings and hurt feelings. So I was in class during my associate's courses, and we were in a group dynamics class. And it was a girl in the class that, like, every time, well, let me just tell you what the issue is. So the issue is, like, if you talk to me, right, I like for you to get right to the point. I'm not like a long story kind of person. And it's not because of attention span or anything like that. It's a matter of, I come from a managerial background where I don't have a whole lot of time for, all the fluff stuff. In writing, you learn that also, like in college, like when writing my thesis project, we had to write 90 words in a paragraph. Like, you got to keep 90 words. That means you got to keep all that fluff out. That's just too much. And you're still missing the point because you put all the fluff in. So in my mind, and the way I'm structured and wired, is that get right to the point. Because if you get ready to tell me that there's a problem, I want to know about the problem now. So, I would always tell my staff, if you got a problem, right, bring me the solution too if you have one, or just get right to what your problem is so we can get to the solution, because we need to keep moving, right? Time is ticking. So in this class, with that thinking, people would have the opportunity to share about different things that were asked by the professor. So this one girl, she would always go, now we live in Florida, so she would go to Texas, right, and come back and go to Jacksonville, and we might in Miami, with the story. And it would be so frustrating to me, like, well, what you go to Texas for? All you had to do was go straight up 95 from Miami to Jacksonville. But you went all the way to hell to Texas, right? Yeah. And that was, so one day she was sharing about something, and I'm like, she was, can you, like, and she told me, in essence, that I hurt her feelings, that I made her feel like what she was saying wasn't important. So needless to say, I got humiliated in front of about 40 people because of my expectation being imposed upon somebody else. Yeah. I wanted to slide under the seat, man. And I went to her after class, and obviously I apologized, but I also thanked her, because that wasn't the first time I heard that. It wasn't the first time I heard that. It wasn't the first time that I was told that I made a person feel so small because they were taking too long explaining something. But that's how they explain things. And I had to learn how to, like just fall back, shut up, and listen. It helped me with myself, but it also helped me, you know, in a direction that I was going, as a supervisor, because most of my career I've been a supervisor. So I had to be able to listen to people when they were explaining things. But in the meantime, because it also represented conflict for me, I also had to let a person know, you know, how I got triggered by things that they did, not making it their fault, but just saying, hey, listen, because I do all of these things, I have an expectation of people to be able to. So if you could, right, whenever there's a problem, if you can get to what your problem is, and we can get to working on the problem so we can bring resolve to that, I'd appreciate it, because I have my phone is gone. I got emails coming. I got people walking the door. I need to be able to get through things. And I want you to know that I value whatever it is that you need from me, and I need to get it done for you. So, some people were able to, do it a little more expeditiously than others, and some just kind of learned. And it wasn't me trying to change people. You have to understand that there are different environments that request and warrant different responses, and that you can't always have this way. You understand? So, like when I'm supervising people and we're sitting down doing a supervision, right? They're telling me what the challenge is, because we do strengths and weaknesses. So where's the weakness? Right? And we do it not right. But I only have an hour with you, so we don't have a whole lot of time to do. So we set it up first, and then as we go along, we'll revisit this area. We'll revisit that area. If this comes up, right, then we revisit it and we put another plan of action in place. But what I'm saying is that my life is structured. I'm that kind of a structured person where, I got to get it done. Got to get it done. If I waiting on you could mean a delay in me getting a report done. And I can't. I don't have time all the time. So I apologize for making you feel that way. Now I'll do better with it. Here's how we can, make this a little more easier for both of us. What do you think? This will work. This will work for you. Okay. So if we can do it that way, we can change the due date, because it doesn't, exceed the due date that I have for my reports, stuff like that. People understand what I am saying. We talked about that. I must always do well. If I do not attain these goals, if I fail to live up to my expectations, I'm a miserable failure and deserve the worst. See, then you start seeing where there's some other stuff there. There's some other stuff there that you have to start looking at, because this has to do with self-perception, right? And you need to start looking at how you really see yourself. Like, I don't believe I can't go anywhere and not jump right in. I don't care where it is. I don't care who the people are. Doesn't matter to me. I don't see anybody as bigger than me. Anybody is better than me, right? I'm fully saturated with the craft that I've been practicing for 30 years, practicing and applying for 30 years. I don't believe anybody has more knowledge than me. I believe that your area of focus was different than mine, because that's actually what happens. People have different areas of focus. Some do psychology, some do psychiatry, some do cognitive behavior, some do, dialectical. Everybody has different focuses. My degrees are in behavioral health and human services, so it's very vast, right? So you're going to fail sometime. How many times do you think Michael Jackson missed that 3-pointer? How many times do you think Michael Jordan? I was going to say something about Michael Jackson too. How many times do you think Jordan missed that shot? How many times do you think Mahomes missed that wide receiver? How many times do you think the Williams sisters missed that ball, went over the line? Right? You do it over and over and over and over and over again until you master it, and you still can miss. It happens. Things will make me happy. We are poor at predicting what will make us happy in the future. What makes you the happiest? Think about what really makes you happy. Anything that makes you happy that leaves you, that means you are now miserable. So if you say having a lot of money or a never ending stream of money, and then the stream gets cut off, what happens? Having a whole bunch of women, and then you get fat, you get out of shape, you get nasty. God forbid something else happens that, like age, you become my age, right? So whatever you're looking for in terms of happiness is inside of you. It has to be inside of you. It has to remain inside of you. Do you think as I move further into aging, I'll be 66 this year. Do you think as I move into 67, 68, 69, 70, that my perspectives on some things won't change? Most of the perspectives that change for me at this age would be inside, seeing what I can't do anymore like I used to do, and not trying to convince myself that I can. Embracing it, accepting the aging process. Nah, dude, you won't be running up and down the court no more. Nah. You may do a couple, trips up and down, and you'll be on the bench for the next, 17 minutes of the quarter, and then maybe we'll get a chance to get you out there again, get a couple of rebounds, and that's just kind of stuff that I have to embrace. So I have to have something inside of me that keeps me from looking at that and coming down on myself, beginning to sulk that I can no longer do that. I think the only real thing that I see myself physically doing that I've been doing for years is weightlifting, weight training. Yeah. The amount of weights doesn't matter. I'm still keeping myself fit. I'm still able to do those things. I'm still, able to get on my treadmill. I'm still able to sit on the Nautilus and do. I'm still able to put the gloves on and hit the bag for a few. I can still do just as many sit-ups and push-ups as I did when I was in basic training in 1986. Yeah, those things are great for here, and being able to do them is even greater. But I just know that some days I just want to feel that 335 again. Just want to, because but it's not a need. See, when you have all that testosterone running through you, you got to get it off you, right? But when you get to my age, like you just, you know what I'm saying? You just flowing along, and you have to start embracing that, because I'm telling you, I don't hear a lot of aging people talk about it, but that shit gets scary, man. Yeah. So when you start looking at expectation, you start looking at, like, I'm not an OG, I went from, I'm no longer in that, like, old head. I'm a senior. You know what I'm saying? I'm a senior member, right? That's what I am. Yeah. I'm a senior member. No old head no more. I'm senior, right? 65, pushing 66. I'm senior, right? So if things will make you happy, you need to reevaluate your existence, because it ain't about things. Things will go. They will go. And once they're gone, you're no longer happy. That's why when you see couples who have been together for a while and one goes, it's not long afterwards that the other goes, because that was their connection. That's when you know you have somebody in your life who complements your life. your soul, your spirit. And when another person goes, you want to go, you want to follow them because it's your spirit. It's not like you had this 67 Chevy all this time and now it stopped running. Nah. Not like you had them, them gold teeth all in your mouth and now your teeth just fell out and you can't even get the gold in your mouth and you looking at yourself now like, but it's not. It's a whole different thing, man. What makes you happy? That's where your expectations really come from. You having to have things to make you happy. That means the person that you have in your life has to provide you with things in order for you to be happy. So therefore, you're not happy without those things. Therefore, you're not happy. Therefore, you can't be with me because you're not happy. You're not already happy. I got to give you things to make you happy. We done. I can change them. You think you can change somebody else? I want you. I love you. Why don't you just change for you? So you want me to not be? I had that situation. Yeah. For years, I had a 5-year plan. When you're in your 40s and 50s, you do 5-year plans. After 50, you do 3-year plans. I had a 5-year plan that I was going to retire in Florida, move from Philly and move to Florida, retire in Florida. I did it in 3. I did it in 3 to move to Florida. I did it in 4 to move to the part of Florida I wanted to be in. Yeah, because Panama City ain't the Florida I had in mind. So Central Florida wasn't what I had in mind. So eventually I wound up in South Florida. So I say all this to say that, like, listen, the only way you're going to begin to change the expectations that you have of other people is if you change the expectations you have of yourself. Yeah. Everything that I do, I just do because I enjoy doing it. My 5th album is about to come out. I do music, independent artist, no contract, a handful of followers who I love dearly. If I had 1 follower, I'd love that person dearly. I got a handful of followers. Same way with YouTube, handful of followers. I appreciate everyone who follows me. If I never get any more, that'll be fine. If they all fall off, that'll be fine. People got lives. People just move on. It's just the way it is. But what I look at it from is that, from my perspective, it's a legacy. Just think, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, my great grandchildren, they can always go and find out about Pop Sabir, Grandpop Sabir, Uncle Sabir, my dad. That's going to always be there. They'll always be able to find me. Somebody else will always be able to find a video that maybe be able to help them improve the relationship between them and the mother of the children and or the child. It's always something there that somebody can always get from me that I left behind as a contribution, my contribution to bring about change in this life. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to always be there. You can always go back and listen to my music. Hey, who knows, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, an artist can pick up my music and want to sample it, right? But whatever monies come from my music is for my family. Whatever funds comes through a Lean for You, .net from our merchandise, that's for the family. That's not for me. I may never see a Lean for You blow up, but know it's going to. And know that my children, my grandchildren, my family can have a steady income of money coming in. That if my wife decides that she wants to stop working, that she can go ahead and stop working and have an income to be able to pay bills. She's already going to have my Social Security. You lay on a couple $1,000s more from the business, and here the mortgage is paid, bills are paid, a car will be paid for, all that stuff will be paid for. Ain't for me. I just enjoy doing it, right? I don't have expectations of people to do anything other than what I know they're going to do. So I don't depend on people like that. And nobody should personalize it. If they do, that's on them. That's not on me. But why should I be dependent on other people? I got my wife. My wife depends on me. I depend on my wife. Plain and simple. That's who we depend on. That's why the hurt is so devastating when people who are together and take care of each other, look out for each other, and really ride or die. That's why they want to go, because they want to go be with the other person. They want to go where they went because they know they went somewhere. And that because of that relationship, they're going to go there. So they're going to see each other. Now, I ain't never been there before, so I can't tell you if it's true. But what I heard was that the last person you marry is the person that you wind up with in that other place. So first thing I want to do is be married, because everybody who I've been with ain't necessarily who I want to be with again. But if I married you, there was some value to that relationship. So listen, as always, y'all can be on anything else. Who we got here? We got Majid, Magles baby, Lai Powell, Hussein, Rafael Diaz. Listen, James, you've been on the show the whole time, man. Thanks for tuning in, James. And thanks for the like. Thank all of you, James. You just been there. Every time I look up, I see another like from you. I'm glad you were here today. I do this show every Sunday at 10 o'clock, between 10 and 10:30, really, but try to be on at 10 o'clock. There are over 500 videos on my Sabir Aleem educational station on YouTube. This show, Daddy's Right Here. Not only it was the Daddy's Right Here, it was the Wise View, which used to be myself and some other male co-hosts. There's about 3 other guys. It was me, Joel, my brother. Primarily me and Joel were doing the show. And then we had Shakur come on. So it was like about 4 males. And the Wise View was just about varied topics from the male's view. Y chromosome. Side spot. I do side spot throughout the course of the day. Any given time, you can see me pop on in the middle of the day and just do what I call side spot, which is Sabir Aleem spot. It's just a thought, and sometimes it turned into a 1, 2. The other day I was on for 2 hours doing side spot because I had some stuff in my head, and TikTok, for whatever reason, decided they wanted to throw me a damn warning notice telling me that I violated some community guidelines. And here I'm sitting here watching people putting stuff on there talking about hurting people and, flipping the world and all kind of stuff. And they're being shown. So anyway, that's their shenanigans. But I do that. That's what I do. My 5th album, Gods in a Man's World. Not God is, Gods. Gods, Gods in a Man's World. It's my 5th album that is going to be done in the coming days. Next few days, I should have it finalized. I've been sick, man. I've been carrying whatever this is, and it's been talked about in social media. I've been carrying it for 3 weeks now, going to a 4th week with this congestion up in my chest. So I did the title track to the song "Gods in a Man's World," and I'm still fighting with this. It's like just sitting right here. It's like some kind of congestion between the head and the chest, but so I'm trying to finish that album up. But if you've never listened to my music, go check it out. Go to your favorite music streaming platform, right? Whatever it is. My music is on there, right? Type Sabir Aleem, Sabir, Aleem, Alim, right? And you'll find all of my stuff, right? This is album number 5. I think I have 5 albums, 17 singles. This is the 2nd album in 12 months. Earlier in 2025, I released album Line Up, which was focused on the line dance group because the length of the songs averaged more than 8 minutes. But it's about everything you see going on here today. Listen to my music. Listen to my music. Listen to my music and then go watch CNN. And everything that is in all of my music and in my book, Code Black. Get my book, Code Black. The book is $5. It's on Amazon. Everything that I've written about in my music and in my authored book, you're going to find it. Guaranteed. Gods in a Man's World is going to show you exactly what's happening now. and where this is all going. God's in a man's world. Yeah. He's the creator. God is the creator. We're made in his image, his likeness. We have all of his attributes. If you think for a minute that you're not giving God-like powers, there's but one who is greater than. Read for yourself, get an understanding for yourself. Yeah. I bear witness there's but one worthy of worshiping. Implies there are others. There's but one worthy of worshiping, and that's God himself. When you look at man's charge to this world, you'll understand what I'm saying. Look at what man has done. Look at what man continues to do to this life, in this life, to mankind. I'm going to see y'all next Sunday at 10 o'clock. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm your man, Shabir Ali. Don't forget to check me out at AleemForYou.net. Where's my banners? Now I put my banners up on don't forget to check me out at AleemForYou.net, right? Where you get some of the listen, you get merchandise from us, best prices, best designs, best quality product, hands down. No competition. Once you find us, bookmark us. No competition. Every time you think of a custom item that you want, you're going to think of us. We're going to be a household name this time next year. We're going to be a household name. Look out for our pop-up shops. Look out for us on the site for all of our sales. Valentine's Day is coming up. For those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day, there's already merchandise there. Pick it up. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace. Oh, yeah. So, and I don't know if you noticed, I moved into another studio space. I got to bring my audio equipment down so we can have, music. So that way you can hear the music. But, man, life is great. None but him. Hey, listen, shout out to the Denver Broncos. Yeah. I'm from Philly, so y'all know I'm a Phillies fan, but I love the Broncos. I'm a Broncos fan from back in the 60s, 70s, but yeah, shout out to the Broncos. I might have to get me another Denver hat. I already got the two-time a Super Bowl champion cap that I got when I went to Denver, but I like to see Denver and the Rams. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Denver and the Rams. Okay, anyway, listen, I'll see y'all soon. Peace.